reached a level where Israel has launched a full-fledged attack on Gaza, and the fear is that the war may escalate and spread to other countries as well.
और इस मुद्दे पर बात करने के लिए हम भारत में लेबनान के जो राजदूत हैं डॉक्टर राबिया नार्श उनके साथ हैं और हम उनसे बातचीत करेंगे अलग अलग पहलुओं पर. आवर फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू इज दैट द वे attacks and counter-attacks are taking place near Israel and Lebanon border. There is a fear that it can escalate a full-fledged war. So Israel is blaming that it's Hezbollah who is dragging Lebanon into the war. So what's your take on that?
Thank you. First, let me welcome you, both Kadam Bini and Mushankar. Thank you, and I'm glad to be on your show. Any war needs two parties, and we are not interested in any war. Lebanon is not interested in any war, but obviously Israel is. They've been provoking Lebanon, provoking Hezbollah along our borders, and they've been bombing homes, civilians. They killed journalists, civilian journalists in Lebanon. So all the provocation has been coming from the Israeli side. But let me first also, since that you talk about the 7th of October attack, and like since then the situation has been aggravated. Actually, this is not true. The situation didn't start on the 7th of October. The crises have been there for decades. Particularly since the 1967 occupation of Israel to the Palestinian land. Since then, Israel has been refusing all calls for peace, for withdrawal from the Palestinian land, have been refusing all peace initiative, and have been inflicting horrendous damages, horrendous infliction and impacts on the Palestinians.
Well, Israel says that it is a war of existence. It is an existential crisis for them because Hamas believes that the Palestinian land lies between the river and the sea, and it does not have any place for Israel.
Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people. There is a Palestinian Authority which does represent the Palestinian people, and Israel has a peace accord with Palestinian Authority, Oslo Accord. But Israel itself refuses and denies all peace. That does not abide by any of those accords, peace accords, nor does it abide by any of United Nations resolutions. They have been denying all calls for the two-state solution. And you know, this was an Arab initiative since 2002. That it was a historic initiative that called for all the Arab unanimously. They were ready to recognize Israel, exchange normal diplomatic relationship with Israel, in return of giving the Palestinian their rights, the right of return, and the statehood, a sovereign state that lives side by side in peace with Israel. But Israel has been refusing this peace initiative since 2002 up to now. Every year this initiative is being renewed, and every year Israel has been refusing it.
It's a fact that Israel and Philistine conflict has a very long history, and it has its own context. But would you agree that October 7th attack was the immediate instigation, and that's why this situation has come where there is a fear of a full-fledged war?
No, I don't agree. Of course I don't agree. And I told you, what we saw on October the 7th is normal. I mean, it's fact of life that when you oppress people for ages and for decades after decade, you deprive them of the basic rights, the basic needs in life. They have no dignity. They can't go normally to their work, to schools. When they every day, even before October 7th, and in West Bank, let's say take West Bank, where there's no Hamas there. Just before October the 7th, 200 Palestinians killed. What we saw on October the 7th is retaliation. Every occupation calls for resistance. This is basic law. I mean, the resistance is guaranteed by international law. Whereas wherever there is occupation, there is resistance, and that's guaranteed. So the Palestinians are resisting the occupation, the Israeli occupation, which alone, I mean, I think Israel is the last form of colonialism in the world. That is a Western occupation to the Palestinians. Palestinians are the indigenous people in the land, and Israelis are coming from all over the world to settle in their place. And this is, of course, not acceptable by any norms, not by human laws, not by international laws, not by the United Nations or any law, non-law.
Well, several countries have called for a two-state solution. Even India has called for that. But there is one statement which has come from the US, is that because of the efforts to integrate Israel into Middle East, a closer cooperation in the Middle East, and this is basically the reason, one of the reasons where such an attack by Hamas took place, and it was an indicative of maybe some sort of conspiracy so that this integration does not take place.
Dambini, you know, I just said that what Israel needs more than the whole Arab world, 22 Arab nations, they presented on the table a very clear, simple, and historic initiative that calls to the integration. What does the mean of integration of Israel in the region? Integration means have diplomatic relationship, normal relationship. So this, the Arab, they did present this, and they did call for two-state solution. So no one calls for the instinct of Israel. You said Hamas. Hamas is just a group, militant group. They are resisting for their lands. But the official Arab position is calling for two-state solution. India, like you mentioned, rightly mentioned, and thank you for pointing this out, India is a staunch supporter for two-state solution. In every statement, India calls for two-state solution. The only state in the world that refuses this resolution or this solution is Israel. And we still, unfortunately, see no Palestinian state, because the only state, even the United States, called for two-state solution. So who is treating like above any international law, or like they are the exception for all norms? Israel. And this has to stop.
So a resolution got passed in UNGA. Even after that, Israel has started a ground offensive inside Gaza Strip. So how do you see that situation, and what do you have to say about the humanitarian crisis that is going on in Gaza Strip?
Israel has always, like I also mentioned earlier, that Israel has always disobey and deny, refuse all international and United Nations, particularly United Nations resolution. Israel has always been refusing those resolutions, and we saw when the UN Secretary General said that the attack on October the 7th did not come from vacuum. Then the Israeli envoy there went crazy, and he insulted the Secretary General and called for his resignation. And then this resolution that calls for only humanitarian truce, okay, a resolution, a very human resolution called for humanitarian truce, has been rejected by and opposed by Israel. So yes, it's not a surprise for us that they refused to abide by this resolution, and they, as a response to this resolution from the United Nations General Assembly, they aggravated their attack and they started their ground invasion. You mentioned humanitarian crisis. Of course, I mean, even before this attack, Gaza Strip was under complete seal off, from the complete blockade, and it was cut off from the whole world. Currently, they cut off electricity, water, all kind of food and medications. The situation has been, of course, even before the war, has been very bad.
Would you say the Arab world is united on this issue? And in a nutshell, what would you say is a way out of this extreme escalation of violence? This is a circle of violence.
Right. The Arab world is united. Look, like any group of countries, there's of course difference. Europe is not. Yesterday, many European countries voted with this resolution, and some abstained, and some refused. But so it's the same in the Arab world. But when it comes to Palestine, yes, they are all united. Yesterday we saw all the Arab countries voted for the resolution that calls for humanitarian truce. And they are doing their best, yes, of course, because they collectively, like I said, they presented this peaceful resolution to Israel. The way out is a very good question, but it's simple. I mean, it's complicated because there is Israel, which is not interested in peace, and there is the Arab world that kept on presenting the peace solution. So the only solution that we see is the two-state solution. It's very simple. Withdraw from the occupied Palestinian territories, give them the circumstances to establish their state, let the Palestinian state be there to live in peace, we again say in peace, side by side with Israel, and then the solution is solved. The problem is solved and the solution is there.
So government of Lebanon is backing Hezbollah. If there is a war, then how your government will react? Will be a state-to-state war with Israel, or?
Like I said, we are not interested in any war. We are not, and we are doing our utmost efforts not to be involved into this war. But again, Israel is provoking Lebanon, and you know, I think both of you are, I believe that both of you are very well informed of the situation in the Middle East, in general, in the Arab world, that this societal relation between the Arab countries is so strong that when Israel is hit, when Israel hit Palestine, for example, Palestinian homes, that you feel in Algeria or in Lebanon or in Sudan, you feel sorry for that, and you feel, because they are, I mean, like same family, same people. So yes, of course, I mean, the aggravation of the war by Israel would affect, and no one guarantee that there will be no reaction from any part of the Arab world. But as we are concerned, as long as we are concerned, the government of Lebanon has announced clearly that we are not interested in war, and they are doing all the calls, diplomatic calls and efforts to save Lebanon the impacts of war, because we have experienced the Israeli aggression, we have experienced Israeli bombing of the civilian infrastructure of Lebanon, our bridges, electric power, water resources, everything was bombed by Israel. So yes, we do want to save ourselves from war, but then again, we have all the right to defend ourselves if Israel bombed, and then no one can guarantee how the situation will evolve.
Thank you so much, Excellency.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you.